You're welcome back to News Insights, and hopefully Snake will not swallow our news this morning. And the insights we are throwing on the health budget of the nation. Atiku is really concerned that the way the budget came in, we have initially about 2.48 trillion naira, and the other one is coming in $1.07 billion. Hello, gentlemen. I'm actually wondering why the additional budget was quoted in terms of dollars. The original one was quoted in terms of naira. Well, I mean, what is this our addiction and obsession with a dollar? Why? What is there any intention behind that? Imagine two different units in a budget. I don't know. Or is it the reporting that placed it that way?
No, it wouldn't be the reporting. Reporting does not go to say what
it's not there.
It's not there.
Yes.
And like you have just rightly asked, it's rather most unfortunate in a situation like this because the first thing my mind go to is that some people want to siphon some money and then the ordinary Nigerian will not understand how much was.
Is this siphon money or Snake will swallow it?
Because
now, for what we know, the one swallowed by Snake is not siphoned. Yes. It's different. Nobody was arrested. Nobody was tried.
No. A woman was arrested, was questioned, but we never hear anything about the outcome. Right. And then if snakes swallowed money, one thing we know about snakes is they swallow, they don't chew. So a snake that swallowed 36 million in Benue State 2018 should have been caught by now, killed, opened the stomach,
and bring out
our money. Now it's been quiet. Now Atiku, I think that was under PDP if I'm not mistaken. Now Atiku knowing...
No, that was actually under APC.
Okay, APC. Now Atiku knowing the game that they all play, not even minding the party, the political class play in Nigeria, knowing what he and Obasanjo have done to us over power, a budget, release of money, and no sites. Knowing fully well and suspecting the steps that Tinubu and his own people want to take. Because he's now beginning to shout.
Peter, let me cut Eli there so that you come in. Is it a matter of thief chasing thief? Because one of the reservations Obasanjo has about Atiku becoming a president is that Atiku is very corrupt. He has never minced words in saying it. That Atiku is really very corrupt, even as his own VP. Is it a case of thief chasing thief? Or they say, if you really want to catch him robber, send him robber against that person?
I wouldn't throw that line. I think it's a concern Nigeria. It has to do with health, primary health care. And I share his emotion about this.
Yes.
Already, as you said earlier, in the original draft, 2.4 billion
trillion
naira. Now you're adding $1.07 billion.
Which actually, when we flip it, it's also about 1.6 trillion. When you merge all of them, you're having over 4.4 trillion.
I'm going somewhere.
Yes.
Why denominate it in dollars? And let me blow your mind.
Yes.
They're borrowing that money. From the report, actually.
Yes.
They're borrowing the money. And if you donor agency, will just give you a fraction.
Yes.
So why not put it in naira? And again, what Atiku was saying, this government will put so much money into primary health care without seeing any results. Where are hospitals? Where are college hospitals? They are nowhere. So Atiku doesn't show us the breakdown. You've told us, okay, you want to invest this amount in primary health care. Where are the breakdowns?
Yes.
Let us know where
this money is
how
going.
you intend to spend them.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to get the breakdown. Based on that, we can make a suggestion. We can judge. We can have
an idea of where the direction of development of the nation is going. So Eli, would you be satisfied, or would Atiku be satisfied if Tinubu's government can give a detailed detailed breakdown or detailed report on, it's not a report at this time, or detailed breakdown on how they want to spend this money? Do you think Atiku will be satisfied? Or he's just
I would thought that same path with Atiku. Atiku and not Atiku, Nigeria does not belong to Atiku. He's just speaking because he has a voice. His voice will be heard. I will not be satisfied knowing the kind of government we have, that they could give you breakdown on paper and in the media, and yet by the end of this year, nobody will ask, these projects will not be carried out. Nobody will ask why it's not carried out. The next thing that we're going to talk about, next budget. So the question is this: why didn't you use the 2.4 something trillion budgeted for initially? Let's exhaust it. Let's see the work, the results of that expenses, and know if we need it even along the way. If there is a need before the end of the year, hospitals and then the health workers have enjoyed the input of that volume of money, and then more is needed, you can source for more. Why sourcing for more funds when you have not even
the original
one, knowing fully well that the money is meant for stealing? That is why Atiku, that is already in the picture, knowing how they steal our money in governance, is crying already, understanding that this is their plan, and this is an eye-opening to all.
Peter just said he believes Atiku is talking like
about that. So this is an eye-opening to we Nigerians, that it is time we begin to understand how stupid we have been, how we've been toyed, our futures have been toyed. Remember, we're talking about health here. All right, so it's time for Nigerians to begin to understand that, well, these guys do not have our interests at heart. Whatever they do, the first thing that comes to their mind is, what do we and our associates get out of our job being given to us by the taxpayers with their money? So it is time for us to begin to want to know how you spend. Let's tell the government, no, don't borrow more money. Inject this 2.something billion or trillion into the health sector. Let's monitor how it's being spent. Let's monitor the outcome. If there's a
even though those that are for capital development, those that goes to building hospitals, those that goes to
we equipment, are not blind. We are not
those that goes to paying the doctors, because our doctors are living in droves.
Yes.
So Peter, do you think what could have pushed Asiwaju's government, because oftentimes, it's difficult for any Nigerian who is not part of the government to trust the government. Let's be candid about that. Do you think because of this movement or Japa syndrome, our doctors are leaving, everybody is trying to leave the country? Do you think that could have pushed them to say, okay, let's up our game in health sector. Let's push more money in health sector. Let's take care of our doctors the more. Do you think that could have pushed this additional $1.073 billion?
Yeah, there's a probability that could be. But the issue this government has is what we said some few weeks ago about accountability
and transparency.
Yes. See,
is it only this government or it has been that way?
We're talking about this government.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this government.
Okay.
See, Nigeria, we don't have issue if they want to add $10 trillion to the already budgeted amount for health. Let's have it in paper. Let's know where it's going to. We want accountability, we want transparency. Give us this data so that we can judge this government. We don't have this data. So that is where Nigerians are having problems. Nigerians don't have problems with the money added.
If we see that this thing is to build a hospital that will ensure that even none of our governors or whatever will travel for health center, will say, okay, let's save the dollar too.
If we don't see the hospital, then we'll ask questions. But now, we don't know where the money is going to. That is the issue. That's the real issue.
What Atiku is asking.
That's the real issue. Not the 1.7 billion.
You make efforts to reach out to them to get the details. They rather see you as antagonizing them rather than answer the questions put forward. What is this thing that makes our government officials to feel threatened each time you demand for accountability and transparency?
Corruption. If you are not stealing public funds, you will never be tired if you are doing. Look at it in developed countries. A president or a governor is coming out of a meeting. The press have the right to ask him every question and they answer.
And they do that almost on daily basis.
Even apart from coming from meetings from your office, if the citizens feel, I'm sorry, if the citizens feel there's something they don't understand about your actions in office, they don't need for any special occasion to come ask you questions, and it is your duty to answer them, to satisfy them, to explain to them so that they can understand. But not here. You know why? Because they are careful how they spend public funds here.
And there is
from that, the information they are in public domain.
Okay.
I can go internet and check what America wants to do with the health sector.
Excellent. Do you know? I was saying this. I don't know why we don't do it here. If for any reason I find myself in any government office where I am the accounting officer, okay, every month, all the expenses made, the receiving agents, or the receiving service provider, contractors, consultants, all other specialist providers, every name of every company or entity receiving our money will be published.
And that is in a system where there's
Will
accountability.
be published.
That's the system.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, but that's in the system.
Then maybe you might group the emolument of staff in one pocket because their salary is also.
In that way.
These people, sorry, just one minute. Not these people, they have private businesses.
That's right.
In their private business, they have these things running. They have
Accountability
in their private business. So why won't they bring into governance?
Private business, they do that because they don't want
But unfortunately, not most of them. Let me tell you, Peter. Most of these government officials we have today, you see why I've been saying that we should try to be electing those who have been successful in their private businesses. Most of them, they never did any business. It's from PA to SA to being appointed to this to represent my interest. That's they're being used to free money. How can we arrest that, Eli?
Yes. You see, it's possible again because of our system. A lot of people are graduates today, graduated from school with good results. They don't have the opportunity to serve. If you say the only condition you can get to appointment is by having record of how you've served, how many Nigerians even have the opportunity of serving? That's another problem. You understand? So, but how can we arrest this situation? Is for us to look inward and be sincere with ourselves in terms of giving employment, in terms of keeping records of people's actions in offices, all right? Just like you rightly asked, say their accountability. Then sometimes when you want to give appointment, you bring out the list and name of maybe people qualified for that position and allow, people within that sector to vote in. Don't just appoint someone that is loyal to you, giving people the room to make a choice out of certain group.
They should have a track record. I want to run for a governor. I have not led a business of 200 people. I have not controlled 1,000 people.
Before
in my entire life, I want to be a governor. There is no precedent to that. You don't have anything to show that you could manage such.
I think Nigerians are not really looking at that our government officials should be managing our resources as if it is their own, as if it's, private ownership. But they manage resources as if it is nobody's money. And there's nothing like government money. Government money belongs to you and I. This loan they are taking is you and I.
That will pay, yes.
That's just how it is. So now, Eli, the time is against us. How do we ensure that this additional $1.07 billion allocated to health sector, in addition to 2.48 trillion naira, is not swallowed by snake? We don't want another episode of snake. How can we ensure it doesn't happen?
Well, it's going to be a very difficult thing to checkmate.
So you're hoping it might be swallowed?
Because of the kind of system we have and the kind of.
But what can we do to prevent it?
What we can do is what Atiku have started. We can now put our searchlight on it. We have the Medical Association of Nigeria, all right, whom, of course, are directly involved in this. Now, today they wake up, they say the doctors are not being paid, their salary is being this, the salary means that they are complaining that their hospitals are not being equipped. They can decide to be submitting reports of every health facilities in the country, the hospitals, the staff. So they already know how much is meant for this project for the year. They are in position to know how much drugs and equipments were given to them and how many of their staff were being paid, who were not being paid. If they can be submitting what they get by the end of every month and how much it costs, and they should be able to make the subtraction from what is remaining out of that 4.something trillion by the end of the year and ask question.
What is left?
What is left?
Okay, Peter, just in 30 seconds.
In finance to that, I think National Assembly should do more.
National Assembly should do their job.
They should do more.
Okay, okay, go ahead.
They should ask questions. They should ask for the breakdown.
What if National Assembly members are accomplices?
Unfortunately,
they are. Who are the National Assembly members?
You remember some few weeks ago when the president went to present budget, he made a mistake. He said that means you guys are being re-elected for the next. They all clapped.
And they were even singing on your mandate to stand.
I have said it that the Medical Association of Nigeria should know that this is our budget.
Okay, our time is against us, Eli. Transparency starting from what Atiku said. First of all, show us what you want to do with it at the end of the day so we can match your actions to what you have told us at least. First of all, give us the details. So Nigerians are demanding the details, the breakdown of the approximately 4 trillion budget in the health sector. This is remarkable. I mean, this should change the health sector. So Nigerians are demanding the details. So by the time we have the details, we should be able to match or judge your performance based on the details. This is still News Insight. We'll be right back.